What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brendan and I'm PMX45. Today we're coming at you with another video. We have another in the How to Build series. This is our fourth How to Build for 2.5, and it's our only BT19 deck. Everything else has been BT20. We've been loving the BT20 stuff, but Blue Flare is getting new support in BT19, the second half of BT19 that we didn't get in 2.0, and I'm really excited for it. Blue Flare has been one of my only deck for Cross Heart that I've actually played, or for the cross mechanic that I've played, and really love this deck. Really like the stun aspect to it, basically being able to just play cards for reduced cost, stun your opponent, and take massive chunks out of their security. So Blue Flare has always been something I've really liked, and while I'm not sure it's going to be super competitive into the next format, it's a deck that I'm willing to try. I really haven't been excited for a blue deck in a while. I've mostly been playing whatever form of Galaxy was going on in blue decks. I haven't really switched out my blue decks for a couple formats now, so it'd be exciting to play this new blue version of Blue Flare, especially because it's got the blue right in the title. But we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about this deck, what we think about the old cards and the new cards together, what we think the ratios are going to be like, and which cards we think are going to see most play, and just see how we feel about this deck in general. We do have one more How to Build that's going to be coming out soon, so stay tuned for that, because it's one of the decks that I'm most excited for out of the next set, and I've been kind of saving my most excitement. I kind of started with what I was most excited for, and I'm ending with what I'm also most excited for. So the Imperial Digimon deck and this deck are ones that I'm just super stoked for, and we're just going to see what happens here. But hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of the fun. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's talk about some Blue Flare cards. We'll start off with the Digi-Eggs like we always do. Wanyamon here. This is most likely going to be the one you're going to play. It's the when attacking once per turn. If you have a blue tamer in play, draw one. You do play a tamer deck. You want your tamer out there as soon as you can. So you will be getting draws off this, so potentially. So, Wanyamon, best option. Personally, what I think, if you can think of any other blue ones that might be a little bit better, just let me know. But there's not really anything that really sticks to mind. I did throw Bukamon in there because the inheritable jamming is interesting, because you do have it's a blue deck. You don't necessarily strip sources, but you do gain Digivolution sources from crossing. Maybe not as much. So you could play the Bukamon, but probably not necessary, especially because one of the male Bertram ones gives you jamming. So I would say Wanyamon is the safe bet for this deck. We go into the level 3s, which are not important for Digivolution, but are important for setting up your plays. We're starting with the OG Gaosmon. On deletion, you may play a level 4 Digimon card with Blue Flare. Its trait from your hand suspend without paying the memory cost. That's always a really good one. You want to see him die. Sometimes he's got jamming of his own. You have the Gaosmon from EX4, which is your turn once per turn when a card with Blue Flare trait is played, draw one. And when a card with the Twilight trait is played, return one Digimon card with the cross requirements from your trash to your hand. Nice thing is that I believe this has both Blue Flare and Twilight in it, so you could basically use it with that. It's mostly there for the draw, just being able to play your cards and then draw one, so you get your pieces faster. We have the new Gaosmon, which is on play on deletion, by placing one Blue Flare trait Digimon card from your hand under one of your tamers, draw one. So that's actually really good. I think that one's going to see some play. I think that one's going to probably get in there. We did have the Dracomon from BT11, which was technically a Blue Flare card, which is your turn once per turn when another Digimon with Dramon or Blue Flare trait. When you play another, draw one, and then inheritable when you play another Digimon with Dramon and its name or Blue Flare trait, gain one memory. I'm not sure if this guy's going to see play, just because now we have a bunch of different Gaosmons. I'm potentially seeing maxing out on these guys, and then potentially maybe playing a couple of these, just because the deck focuses more on the level 4s. Going into the level 4s, we have Dramon. This is one that doesn't see play as much, but he was a decent card when he first came out. He was on play, draw one, and then for each of your opponent's Digimon has in play, draw one, and then on deletion save, and then plus plus 1000, while your opponent has 2 more Digimon all turns. Then you have the Greymon from the original BT10 Greymon. He had on play reveal top 4 cards of your deck, add a card with blue flare, trade among them to your hand, place the rest on the bottom of your deck. If you have a Kiriha Anuma in play, you may return 1 Metal Greymon from your trash to your hand instead. And then on deletion, save, and then when attacking, inheritable. Once per turn, if this Digimon has the blue flare trait and your opponent has 2 more Digimon, unsuspend this Digimon. So let you do multiple swings here. You had the Greymon from EX4, which was on play reveal top 3, add 1 Kiriha and 1 blue or black card with the Digi-Xros requirements among them to your hand. So this guy's good too, especially now with the new black and blue cards coming out in BT19. He's actually a little bit better because now, with now that you have more Metal Greymons with that, it's better. And then you can always add the Kiriha Nene Tamer as well. Trash the rest. On deletion, save. When attacking, inheritable, draw 1. So that's all right. We have the new. Greymon, which has Rush, which is kind of cool. And then on deletion, if you have 1 or fewer Tamers, you may play 1 Kiriha Numa from your hand without paying the cost, then save. That's actually really cool, especially because you play him, you rush, and then you just and then he also has inheritable reboot, which is actually really cool. So you kind of want him to die, and then you place him under, and then you can use him right away again. So I do like that. I feel like definitely there's going to be some kind of mix of Greymons. I'm not sure if we're going to play Dramon anymore, but I definitely think there's going to be some kind of mix between the new and the old Greymons. Going into male Bergermon here, we have the on play. If you have Kiriha in play, you may return 1 Metal Greymon from your trash to your hand. If you don't have 1 in play, you can play 1 from the hand without paying its memory. The card has save as well, on deletion, save. And then the inheritable here, once per turn. Once per turn. When attacking, once per turn, if this Digimon has blue flare trait and your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, 1 of your Digimon can't attack or block until the end of your next turn. So that's where some of the stun comes in. So it's kind of good like that. You leave your opponent's stuff on the board, but then they can't attack or block, so it doesn't really matter if they come back at you. You have the EX4 male Bergermon, which had jamming. Again, why we said we don't really need the Bukumon. This one I think is a little bit more important nowadays than this one. And then had the on play when 1 of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level gains when attacking, lose 2 memory until the end of your opponent's turn. So that's kind of nice too. And then on deletion, save, like usual. The new male Bergermon has blocker. On deletion, you may place 1 Digimon card with blue flare from your trash under any of your Tamers. Then save. So the new ones are saving, but then allowing you to place stuff from your trash or your hand under your Tamers, so you have even more resources. And it's got inheritable blocker. So I could see this one seeing play too, just because this new style of basically saving itself and then getting something else is a little bit more lucrative, a little bit more, just it's kind of where the whole build of cross mechanic is going. You have the Dramon, which was from BT10, which had armor purge, and it could Digivolve on top basically of your level 5 Metal Greymon, so it was kind of cool. And then it had on play when Digivolving, you may place 1 Digimon card blue flare trait from your hand or from under 1 of your Tamers under this Digimon as its bottom Digitalization card, and then if Dramon is in this Digimon's Digitalization cards, 1 of your opponent's Digimon can't attack or block until the end of your turn. I don't see this card seeing as play anymore. It did have the Digi-Xros mechanic too, so you could cross for it. Dramon and Metal Greymon for -2. It's not as good of a card anymore, especially with Zeke Greymon kind of took this spot out of the deck. If we get into the Metal Greymons, there's the OG Metal Greymon for this deck, which had material save 2. It had on play rush. And then if Digi-Crossing, 3 of your opponent's Digimon with Digitalization cards less than or equal to this Digimon's Digitalization cards can't attack or block until the end of the turn. So it's really good if you get this out before your opponent gets something big out. And then it had and then of course it Digi-Crossed for Greymon, Male Bergermon for -2, so it was a 3 cost to hard play, which is always kind of nice, easy to get, especially with memory tamers and stuff like that. Then we had the EX4 Metal Greymon. It had on play, this Digimon gains Rush, and then if Digi-Crossing, trash up to 2 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. So this was nice because it actually had source stripping. Material save 2, letting you place, when it dies, place 2 cards under one of your tamers. And then when attacking, if this Digimon has Gray Knightsmon, if this Digimon is Gray Knightsmon inheritable, one of your opponent's Digimon with 3 or fewer Digivolution cards can attack until the end of your opponent's turn. That one was never really good because it was just another Mel Greymon name. The inheritable never came out because no one really played the Gray's Knightsmon stuff. So you had the Digi-Cross, again, people could play for 3 because it was Greymon, and Male Bergermon. I like how it says Blue Greymon, which is funny because did the other one say blue? Yeah, this one said Blue Greymon. So this one could actually Digi-Cross with like the starter deck security attack +1 Greymon, which is actually a pretty cool move, but this guy couldn't. Let's just see how about this here. They've done the same thing here, Blue Greymon, so you can't do that. You have the Digi-Cross requirements being the same. So when this card would be played, you may place, so Digi-Cross 2, so you can play it for 3. It's got material save 2 like usual. On play, gains Rush, looking good. When attacking, Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Then this Digimon may Digivolve into a card with Blue Flare trait from under your tamers without paying the cost. So the cool thing, end of attack, and that's going to be the inheritable. Once per turn, you may play 1 level 4 or lower Digimon card with Blue trait from under any of your tamers without paying the cost. This is cool because this doesn't play suspended. So this is actually better because this lets you play your Rush Greymon, which is cool because you could potentially rush with the Greymon. And if it survives, if it doesn't survive, you could then Digi-Cross. So this is actually really cool. I really do like this because it lets you put your Z Greymons under your tamers with the new abilities and then Digivolve into them, like you said, without paying the cost. So that's really cool. And then you get that inheritable. We also have Metal Greymon Cyber Launcher. This is another Armor Purge card. It was pretty decent in BT11, better than Decker Dramon. I could see this card seeing a little bit of play, but generally, now that we have so many copies of Metal Greymon, I don't see it as much, but it does have Armor Purge, which is nice, which can be used as protection. On play with Digivolve, you may place 1 Digimon card with Blue Flare trait from your hand or from under your tamers. Under the Digimon as spawn Digivolution cards, then return one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to the bottom of the owner's deck, which is kind of cool. And then Cyber Dramon, if Cyber Dramon is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, return one of your opponent's level 4 lower Digimon to the bottom of the owner's deck. So you can get rid of Floodgates, so that's kind of nice. You have the Z Greymons, you have the OG Z Greymon. When Digivolving, unsuspend this Digimon. Then if a card with Blue Flare or Crossheart trait is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, your opponent has 2 or more memory. 2 more Digimon in play, gain 2 memory. So he basically paid for himself a lot of the time off the Metal Greymon because you could Digivolve 2 from the Metal Greymon. And then on deletion save, you may place this card under one of your tamers. Then you may place 1 Blue Greymon and 1 Blue Male Bergermon from your trash under one of your tamers with the general trait. And then it had an inheritable too. Opponent's turn, while this Digimon has Blue Flare trait, gains blocker. So that was kind of nice too. And then of course, so this let you play other cards like Crossheart cards, which you could potentially play something, or play like an Ace card, like you could play Paladin mode. Of course, it wouldn't have the Blue Flare trait, so whatever. So yeah, I'm not sure what level 7. I guess it was probably one of the Shoutmon, like Final Form X, whatever. You could play for that and get that inheritable. You also have the new Z Greymon, which is going to be on play when Digivolving. He Digivolves for 3, so he's not Digivolving for 2 from the Metal Greymon, so that's not as good. But he's got De-Digivolve 2 And then if your opponent has 2 or more Digimon, return one of your opponent's level 4 lower Digimon to the hand. On deletion, you may play one blue flare cross-art trait Digimon card with a play cost of 5 or less from under your tamers without paying the cost. Then you get save and place this card under one of your tamers so you can use them again. And then all turns plus 2,000 inheritable. Again, I'm not sure what the upper tier of this is going to be. Of course, this one's not blue flare specific, so you could play, like, again, things like level 7 aces. But I'm really not sure what the upper tier of the deck looks like. I'd have to go back and look at some of the Shoutmons. But it never really seemed to be important to the deck, just because the deck kind of stunned and then tried to kill you really fast. Blazing Memory Boost, probably still going to be a really good option because it is one of the best searchers in the deck. It reveals top 6 cards of your deck. You may add 2 cards with a blue flare trait among them to your hand, and then play 1 Kiriha among them without paying the cost. Place the rest at the bottom of the deck in any order, then place this card in your battle area. So that's really nice. And then delay, gain 2 memory. So being able to play, add the 2 blue flare cards and then play the Kiriha is always nice. Of course, if you only draw like 1 blue flare card and a Kiriha, you have to add both before you can play it. Although the nice thing too is everything in your deck is blue flare now, pretty much now with more support, so that less likely that you're not going to get to play a tamer. Then we have our tamer options. Of course, we have the original Kiriha, which is your memory tamer. And then, of course, your turn when you would play 1 Digimon Digi-Xros requirements. By suspending this tamer, you may place cards from under it as your Digivolution cards for the Digi-Xros. You have the Nene and Kiriha tamer, which basically is they're both names. Like, so it's a dual tamer, but they both it's classified as, it's treated, sorry, that's the word I'm looking for, treated as Kiriha and treated as Nene. And then at start of your turn, if there are 2 or more Digimon in play, gain 1 memory. So that's extra memory gain, so you can start at 4 with these 2. When you would play a Digimon card with Blue Flare Twilight trait with the Digi-Xros requirements, by suspending this tamer, you may place 1 card from your tamers and 1 card from your trash as Digivolution cards for the Digi-Xros. That's really good too, because I really like being able to use your trash in this deck. It's really, really good. And then the new Kiriha, of course, start your main phase by placing 1 Digimon card with the Blue Flare cross-heart trait from your hand under your tamers, gain a memory. So it lets you start your turn, kind of set your plays up. All turns when any of your Blue Flare trait Digimon cards with Digi-Xros requirements would be played. By suspending this tamer, you would place cards from under your tamers as the Digivolution cards. Same thing, basically, but he is allowing you to stack your stuff at the start of your turn. So I definitely think we're going to have a ratio of all of these in there. I think this new style ability of placing your cards under your tamers without having to save them is really good. So I think that we're going to see this be a little bit more important in the builds. But that's the cards right there. Of course, there's other cards. There's boosts, there's training, stuff like that we didn't look into. These are the main blue flare cards. Like I said, potentially we could see a level 7 cross-heart card if you want to try and get something on top of that Z Greymon and get their inheritables. Not necessarily always going to be, needed. The deck kills pretty fast. Like, your level 5s are your main part of this deck. And that's what's kind of cool too, is you don't necessarily care about your top end, but your top end can help you finish off for game. So that's something that can be super important. But let me know your guys' thoughts about this new blue flare support. Are you liking this blue flare support? Do you think it's good? Are you excited to try out, the new style of basically saving by putting cards underneath your tamers with effects and then gaining buffs off of them? I think it's a really cool idea, and I can't wait to try these cards when 2.5 drops in just a little over a week and a bit. Looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope to see you in the next video. And as always, have a wonderful day. And that's all for now, folks.